Hello, what is up guys, I'm Kyle from KGR, and if you heard not so long ago, probably about a week or two ago, well actually a few months ago and then a few weeks ago, there was patents for an N64 controller and a Game Boy logo, so it could mean classics are possibly happening. I'm not going to get into too much detail about that because that's already been reported on. It's time for my speculation. Is it possible? What kind of games do I want to see on it? Yada yada yada. So today we're going to talk about possible Game Boy and N64 classics. Do I think it's possible? Honestly, I have no freaking idea. I mean, it is completely possible for the NES and apparently SNES classics to play these kind of games. I know Game Boy games are possible, but N64 games, I'm not 100%. I haven't done too much research on it. I know, I'm such a good YouTuber. Always doing my research and stuff. But anyway, my point is, apparently it is possible for this to happen. And if they're going to pull off the same thing like they did with the SNES Classic, all they're going to do is just use the same motherboard and just make it hackable in like, I don't know, 2 weeks, not even. But I'm concerned, how are they going to pull it off? Because I have both of the boxes right here. And if you see, like they are both the same thickness, same size, same everything. And I know the system itself is very small and all the other cords and stuff is going to be very small as well. But the biggest thing about it is the controller. I have no idea how they're going to fit an N64 controller as well as a system and everything else you're going to need into a box that small. That is if they're going to try to keep it consistent and try to keep it all the same size. If they do, then go them! But a problem that we had with the NES Classic was not only the system itself was hard to find, but honestly in my opinion, the controllers were even rarer. I never see controllers like ever. I've seen third-party ones and stuff. Like there was one made by Yoke, I believe, which was a wired controller and it actually wasn't bad. But I took it and just replaced the shell and the buttons and everything with a genuine 85 controller. So everything feels exactly the same except that it has a different cord. Oh, and it's probably my preferred controller, honestly. The cord length is just right because they have a long cord on it and the buttons, in my opinion, feel better. But it's a real, like, you gotta, like, feel them both at the same time to really tell a difference. I'm not saying that NES controller that comes with the Classic is bad. I'm just saying if you compare it to a legit 80s style controller, you can feel a difference. But only by a slight bit. So anyway, if they are going to make N64 classics, they have to make a fuck ton of controllers. Because N64 was very famous because of its multiplayer aspect. 4 controllers, you don't have to buy a separate dongle to make it 4 players. It was ready to go, it was sweet. But, is it going to be possible? If they do, what kind of games are they going to put on it? You have to think realistically what games are on the Wii Virtual Console as of now, because eventually that's getting shut down. Sad face. But if you know how to mod a Wii, you'll be just fine. But anyway, my point is, we have to realistically look at games that are on the Virtual Console and other stuff like that to see what kind of games are going to be coming. And then some of you are probably thinking rare games are completely out of the question. But honestly, they have a small chance of getting through. I know Rare is owned by Microsoft right now. But what else is owned by Microsoft right now? Mojang. Or Mojang, however you want to pronounce it, whatever your preference is. And what does Mojang/Mojang have? Minecraft. And what has Minecraft come to after it was bought out by Microsoft? It has come to the new 3DS and it has come to the Switch. Nintendo platforms. You want to know why they were ported to those systems? Because those systems are selling like crazy right now. So is it possible for Banjo-Kazooie to be on N64 Classic? Oh, absolutely. In fact, they could possibly unlock that thing where like you swap out the cartridge and stuff that they wanted to do a while ago. I think they put that on the Rare Replay or the other type of things that are on the 360. I don't know. I think they implemented that later. But anyway, they could do that on the Classic now if they really wanted to. I mean, if they put Star Fox 2 on a Super Nintendo, I mean, I think it's possible. And some of you are probably calling me an autistic fuck because I actually just got called that in a video not so long ago. But yeah, some of you are probably going to disagree with me saying how it's completely impossible. But I'm saying if Minecraft, who was owned by Microsoft right now, has just been ported to like Nintendo systems as of recently after the buyout, I think it's possible. And Microsoft does respect Nintendo a lot. At least they act like they do. So I'm confident we're going to have at least Banjo-Kazooie. There's no way in hell we're getting Conker's Bad for a day. GoldenEye is probably not going to happen either because I know there was copyright issues and when it got a trophy for the bomb that was in 007 I think. Or Perfect Dark, I can't remember. Anyway, there's a landmine, like a little bomb, that is in a trophy in Smash Brothers, but it's known as Top Secret. But for those who are die-hard fans, you know what it's from. So don't expect 007. I mean, if it happens, then sweet, but if it doesn't, then don't be shocked. But of course, we gotta have the usual. We gotta have Mario 64. We gotta have Mario Kart. Pokemon Snap is a complete possibility of happening. Pokemon Stadium games, on the other hand, probably not gonna happen. As much as I would want them to, probably not. But if they remake the controller, is the port on the back gonna still be there? Will we still be able to use our Rumble packs? Will we be able to use our Game Boy packs? What about the analog sticks? The analog sticks on N64 controllers die so quickly. So are they gonna like do some advanced engineering or something? I don't know. Are they gonna replace some piece to make it so it lasts a fuck ton longer? I don't know. I'm not a doctor. Of course, we gotta have Ocarina of Time, but will we get Majora's Mask as well? Chance. Most likely, we're gonna see Kirby for 64. We're probably gonna see Donkey Kong. We're gonna see a lot of first-party titles here. Of course, we're gonna have Star Fox 64. But what third-party games could be on there? Besides rare stuff, I honestly have no clue. So that's what the comment section's there for you guys. So if you have any thoughts on what games could possibly happen on an N64 Classic, let me know in the comments. But anyway, yeah, my main concern about this N64 Classic is like the shape of the box, which I know isn't really much of a real issue, but I'm really concerned about the controller. Is it gonna lack that expansion option? How's the analog stick gonna hold up? Honestly, as much as I love Nintendo, I do not like the N64 controller much at all. If Mario 64 ends up coming to this, and no, I'm gonna cut myself off right there. I mean, like, it's gonna happen if they make one. But if they do, am I going to play it on N64 Classic? Honestly, I don't think so. Because I've been playing Mario 64 on a GameCube controller on my Wii through Virtual Console. And holy crap, does it feel a fuck ton better. The GameCube controller, a lot of people praise it to be like the perfect controller. Will I say that? Probably not. It is a comfy controller, but I'm not sure if it's going to be claimed as the best in my opinion. But anyway, holy crap, Mario 64 feels perfect on a GameCube controller. Unless I buy one of those controllers that has that little connection that goes into a Wii remote that feels perfectly like an N64 controller, that feels perfectly like a GameCube controller. I know there's a fight pad that I forget who makes it. I know Hori makes one that feels exactly like an N64 controller, but I know there's another fight pad that has like a Zelda theme and a Mario theme, and those controllers fucking suck in my opinion. But anyway, do I want an N64 Classic? Oh, absolutely. I mean, I barely have room for it, but I'll fit it in there. And I would want it just so I could ROM hack it and add Pokemon Stadium and stuff on there, or any other N64 games that I want. But the Game Boy, I assume they're going to go with the OG style Game Boy, okay? Unless you think they're going to go with a Pocket. I don't know. Let me know in the comments which Game Boy do you think they're going to go with. But I remember there used to be a time where the smaller the systems got, or anything got, it was the cooler it was. But now we're at that point where we want bigger displays. If they go with a classic version of a Game Boy, are they going to make it smaller? Because suppose nowadays someone tries to play on a Game Boy Micro, they're going to be miserable. Because that screen is fucking tiny. So if they make a Game Boy Classic, obviously we got to have Mario Land 1 and 2 and stuff, and Zelda, and maybe a Pokemon game or two. Again, let me know in the comments what kind of games you want to see on a Game Boy. But how's the form factor going to be? I think if anything, it should be a Game Boy Pocket. As much as I love the original design, that thing is fucking thick. Unless you make a slimmer version of that, because the size is good, I guess. Don't make it too small because you're going to want to have a decently sized screen. And of course, I assume it's going to be backlit if they make one. And they're probably going to have different settings so you can make it green and black, or black and white, or have some color in some of the games. But personally, I don't know how they're going to pull off a Game Boy Classic, if it's going to be mini at all. And yeah, what are they going to do about the screen? If they make the system smaller, the screen is going to be smaller, and that's going to make a lot of people miserable. So if anything, they should just make it slimmer, but that's about it. And if there's any way to make the screen bigger, then they should probably do that. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But that's my 2 cents in this situation. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about this possibility? Do you think it's really going to happen? What do you think is going to come first? Personally, I think an N64 Classic might come out first because it might be the easiest out of the 2. What games do you want to see? When do you think these guys are going to come out? That comment section's there for you. Like, just let me know what are your thoughts as a whole when it comes to these 2 possible systems. I love you guys so much, and if you knew and you like what you saw, you know what to do. In the description, there's all my social media, and that's all I gotta say, so I guess I'll see you on the next one.